What is a woman?
That's a good question. We're the wrong people to ask.
We're all women.
Don't you want to erase cis hetero norms?
Can men hit women now?
They already do.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Edward. So recently, the newest Supreme Court judge nominee, Judge Jackson, was asked to define what a woman was.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
I'm not a biologist myself, but I can tell you that a woman is someone with a vagina, has a menstrual cycle.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Things of this nature. But for some reason in 2022, it seems like that's so controversial to say. And so I thought it would be a cool idea to talk to people on the street to see what they think. Can they define what a woman is even without a biology degree? Let's go see what people have to say. What is a woman?
Interesting. A woman.
What is a woman? I don't know how to answer that question.
I don't like this question. Next question, please.
That's a good question. We're the wrong people to ask.
A woman is someone who pursues everything with their whole heart, which I think could be any person. But a woman especially is someone who just works hard, stands out, is proud of themselves, and goes after it. And I think that's really anyone.
I can argue like I'm those things, right?
100%, yeah.
But I'm not a woman, am I?
No, you aren't.
Okay.
I mean, whatever you are.
Then how do you actually define it then?
I think it's whatever that person says.
Can you define what a woman is?
Yeah, me.
It's not really up for anyone to define other than the person themselves. So, when we're born, the doctors and people around us try to assign us a gender at birth, but that's not actually indicative of what we actually are,
Because you're recording me, I must be very careful what I say and how I say it. To me, a woman, at the end of the day, if you were to die and the only thing you had left was your bones, your DNA can identify if you were male or female. That's it. At the end of the day, that's what that breaks down to me. You can identify as what you want to, but as a 2022, you got to be careful with that subject because people are sensitive. So
Why is that controversial to say?
because of the day that we live in now, it's very controversial.
But
So
should it be? Because you're not.
It should not be, but because of the day it is now, that's just what it is. If you rewind to 50 years from now, it wouldn't have been like that.
Like a menstrual cycle, ovaries. What about stuff like that? Like, how do you address that when it comes to this conversation?
that's anatomy. It's still not gender.
It's not a gender, but it is like a biological sex.
So I would not assign them, I would not assign body parts as, female or male. And it's hard for me to have this conversation just because I identify as non-binary. I'm in a lesbian, a sapphic relationship,
How do you define what a woman is?
A woman is sweetness and love.
I'm some of those things, okay, but I'm not a woman, right?
Men can possess those same qualities too.
So then how do you define exactly what a woman is?
It doesn't matter what the gender is. The woman is something in me that biases me toward, selecting that gender.
What is a woman?
We're all women.
I feel like a woman is someone who feels beautiful,
I mean, I feel beautiful, but I'm not a woman.
but maybe you are.
Do you think that it's important for us to distinguish the biological differences between men and women?
No, that isn't what matters on this. It matters to people, right, politically. It matters to people because of established norms. We're just cave people, basically, right? We're just cave people.
Because a lot of people bring it up in the conversation with transgenders participating in sports. Biology says that there seems to be a difference between males and females in terms of like bone density, in terms of muscle mass and all of that.
But there's a lot of athletes that are assigned male at birth and are cis, like Michael Phelps, who have certain advantages already. Nobody's considering those.
Pretty sure you guys have heard about Leah Thomas. Not even just a couple years ago, was still identifying as a male, went through puberty like as a male. She has all of that biological advantage and was able to place in first. Do you guys think that that was fair?
I think it's fair.
If you transfer, a male into a sport where strength is important, of course they're going to beat women, and that's an unfair advantage. And so you got to make the call. No, you can't allow her. I don't believe she should be allowed to swim.
I agree. This is where I say that I think it's important to address biology, because if we don't, things like that happen and it's acceptable.
Absolutely.
When it shouldn't be.
Absolutely. It's common sense, though, right?
course.
It should be common sense.
Do you think it's fair, even though when Leah was identifying as a male, placed in 400th, and then now places in first, you think it's fair?
I think it's fair.
Biology did play a part.
It could, but it could also play a part in other. We can bring up many different examples. Exactly. Like when I brought up Michael Phelps, he has a biological advantage as well.
I understand that, but there's a stark difference between placing in 400th and then placing in first. I support trans people. I support people's right to live as they want to live. But to me, it seems sort of damaging to like erase the conversation about biology, especially in these instances when it's clearly like not fair.
What is that erasure in terms of trans rights?
I think it actually erases women.
Don't you want to erase, like cis hetero norms,
Can men hit women now?
That's a good question.
But why are you They already do.
Is it acceptable? Like, should we have MMA fighters, UFC have man versus women?
What's the difference between men and women?
We have a pussy, they have a penis. Yeah, the difference is just like biological at the end of the day.
Men and women?
Men and women.
Biological differences?
Yeah.
I think there are, yes.
Okay, and that's not hateful to say or
absolutely
anything?
not. No,
Okay.
I think that's just, that's a statement, that's a fact, and then you move past that to get to know the heart and the soul and the part of the human being and all that stuff. Not to say that you can't acknowledge it or own it or whatever it is. It's getting to know that person and that soul and that heart rather than maybe what they look like on the outside.
Is there a difference between a man and a woman?
No.
No?
Anything a woman can do, a man can do, and anything a man can do, a woman can do.
I kind of think it's a mentality thing.
Vaginas and penises, right? Like
Yeah.
there's okay, so there's a
There's a physical difference, and I feel like the mental one is the one that counts, though.
LGBT community is like so large right now. You have trans women that I have a whole bunch of friends that I consider women, and me saying that would hurt their feelings, so I call them women. Accept people for who they are. We live in 2022, whatever you want to identify as, stick to that, stand on that, because who the fuck am I to tell you what you are?
We kind of have middle ground, right?
I would say it's a little bit of an incompatibility, like a total mismatch,
Right.
Yeah, I see this all in the news and it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. I could care less about sports.
But you didn't train for sports, and these women did. I mean, just put yourself in their shoes.
But I wouldn't want to put myself in a cis woman's shoes. The shoes I'm going to stand in are the ones that, move closer and closer towards inclusivity. Hopefully a gender fluid society.
The issue with that is that
it makes sports harder. Big whoop. Who the fuck cares?
What is a woman?
Yeah, I'm not ready for this. A woman is a person with a vagina and can have babies.
Yes! Oh my god, high five. The most simple, pragmatic answer we've heard.
People make it real complicated.
People make it very complicated.
Especially in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
I don't know how to define a woman.
What I was taught growing up as a woman was one definition, and as things are changing, and I'm so glad that they are, I don't think we can define it right now. I think things are still changing and moving, and I think as long as we're being respectful of who people's chosen identity is, that's the best we can do, right?
Tits and the pussy, glamour.
She said tits, pussy, glamour. Yes.
At least that's the kind of pussy I would want.
What is a woman?
Whatever describes you to be a woman.
What's a woman?
Anything?
I don't know.
A woman gets shit done, no matter what. They take care of stuff. They're the mother of everything.
If I say I'm a woman,
If you say you're a woman, you're a woman.
so out of respect, you'll view me as a woman, but do you think I'm actually a woman?
I don't judge, and I can't say
Nowadays, it's so hard. It's sensitive to be able to just say that there's men and there's women because it's like a sensitive topic and it shouldn't be controversial, but it is.
Sadly, it is, and that's what the world has become. But honestly, like you said, whatever you want to be labeled as, that's what you want to be labeled. Whatever you label yourself as is what at least I'm gonna respect.
I was a special police officer, and I actually lost my job by calling someone. Well, I did. I got upset, and I called a transgender a fan, and I lost my job. So,
You lost your job?
Yeah, I lost my job, so it's that serious. And then I'm from Washington, D.C., so the mayor out there is LGBT, she's gay, so I lost my job.
I don't really feel like woman is necessarily what you are on the outside, what your body parts are. It's about spirit. Whatever your feminine energy is what a woman is.
And about the fact that women give birth, and that's not something that anyone else can understand but a biological woman, and that's a spiritual thing. So What do you say to that?
That's tough.
It's tough?
Yeah. I 100% believe that anybody can be what they want to be, but I 100% know that anatomically and biologically, a woman is wide hips, she is the birth canal, she is inside out, caring, she is nurturing, she is different mentally she's wired a certain way. So only a woman can do what
Have that experience.
Can do, yeah, for sure.
She's a woman. She's a woman just like every other woman on that team, right?
I mean, not exactly though. That's just not true. Like there is a difference.
We've erased trans women, and trans women are women.
How does that not erase women when they can clearly come in with the biological advantage and beat everybody out?
Why does that
We're
erase
already
women?
seeing it happen. Like it happened with Leah Thomas. It happened with Fallon Fox, the MMA fighter who like completely knocked out.
But why
That-
does that erase women? That's my
It erases women because they've worked hard to achieve.
Define women.
Woman to me is someone who can menstruate, someone who has a vagina, someone who generally speaking has lower muscle mass, like smaller bone density.
You yourself call yourself a trans ally. That in itself, that definition is purely transphobic.
It's not transphobic though, because transgenders want to transition from A to B.
Like I said, I think you have some type of misconception you need to clear up for yourself.
We can't even say something that's like true. Do you know what I mean? Like
You can't, because everybody are people so sensitive. Like people can't really voice what they say because you're going to get ridiculed or you're going to get backlash somehow, some way, only because you're speaking of how you feel at the end of the day.
And on that note, thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, please consider joining my Patreon. Also, make sure you follow all of my social media. Big thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and stay tuned in for the next video. Until next time, thanks guys.